walk around Emma Russell for an hour every morning.
Oh, that's a great way to start your day.
It really has been interesting and unique to learn how to work from home. I don't have kids here, which makes a really big difference. And my husband works from home, so we have 2 separate offices. We have lunch together. Then we go. Oh,
Oh, that's a great way to
Oh, somebody's coming on.
I know. Can I call you back? We just entered that meeting. Okay.
there we go. Okay, YouTube's on.
We can hear Matt. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I was on a phone call. I was out of the room though.
Matt, have you heard from Ann?
Ann said she needed her, Ann called me and she said she needs to hurry and get something to eat, so she'll be right with us.
Okay.
I hope she eats in Roy.
Well, it's Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully she's having a taco.
I know.
And it's Taco Tuesday.
Hi, Randy. Okay, I know Ann is going to be coming on, but I don't want to delay this process too much longer. So we'll give her another minute, but I need to get going.
Yeah, we could start if you want to, Bob, because we do have enough members on.
I am texting her the password to get on. That's the delay.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. First, I want to welcome everybody. This is the Roy City RDA Board meeting, the May 5th, 2020. This is starting at 7:30 p.m. We have available to us Board Member Saxton, Board Member Paul, Board Member Wilson, and Board Member Jackson, I believe, is coming on now. Okay, can you hear us, Ann?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we're just waiting for your smiling face, but we'll go ahead.
I don't know why it's not there, but okay.
That's okay. We do have some action items. First one is consideration adoption of resolution of Roy City Redevelopment Agency authorizing disposal and sale of the agency property located at the Wasatch Executive Park. Matt and Andy, you guys probably understand this a little bit better. I went and looked at it on the Weber County website and very familiar now with what it is. So, yep, that's what I've seen. So go ahead, Matt, if you'd like to talk, or Andy.
This is actually Camille. Can you see my screen?
Oh, Camille,
Yes.
you can do it? Okay.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I just want to orient you where we're at. So over here is 1900. Up here is north. So this is 4000 south. If you pass the library and come to the roundabout and come down 2175 west past the school, here's the school parking lot. And the parcel of property we're talking about is just south of the school. So it's 1.05 acres. Right now, you wouldn't know the difference between this property and George Wallen Park. It's grass and sidewalk and blends seamlessly with the park area. And years ago, the RDA was working with the old Iomega building, getting more parking there. That's when the park was relocated. And the RDA held on to this parcel of property, but there's not a redevelopment need for this property at this time. And it's better utilized as a way to increase our park size. So we are recommending that you approve resolution 20-1 with the special warranty deed to sell this parcel of land to Roy City for $10. So we can continue to use it as part of George Wallen Park.
Okay, board members, comments on this resolution. And by the way, Camille, you said it was 20-1?
Yes, I checked with Morgan and it would be resolution 20-1 for the RDA.
Okay, I just want to make sure it was not listed. I want to make sure that the announcement's made. So comments?
Yes.
Board members.
I'll see your 10 and bump you 5. Can we get 15 out of this?
Yeah, I was gonna say $10. I don't know. That's quite a bit.
I make a motion, we move forward with it.
Right.
Okay, no more comments. We got a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, this is a roll call vote, Morgan, so if you would.
She's on
You're
mute.
on mute, Morgan. You're still on mute.
Okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
Board Member Saxton,
Aye.
Board Member Paul,
Aye.
Board Member Jackson,
Aye.
and Board Member Wilson.
She's
You're on
mute.
She's on mute.
She
Give
mute?
thumbs up, Diane, you're mute.
Great. Motion
Aye.
carries.
Okay, thank you.
The best $10 we've ever spent.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And just.
I'd like
just-
to know who came up with the $10. Who came up
I
with that?
think Randy and Matt can explain it best, and Camille, I suspect, but RDA board really doesn't have any interest in this park ground. It's not what we do. So
Yeah.
give it back to the city and let the city deal with it, okay?
You have to put a dollar value when you put a deed. So you'll see that quite often in quitclaim deeds, just a nominal amount.
Yeah, $10, not a bad
And-
buy.
And the
Matt?
RDA law allows us
Everybody
to
be
go
pretty
ahead.
excited about buying an acre of ground for $10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the RDA law allows us to sell property or give property below fair market value. The resolution has the section of the statute that gives us that authority.
There you go.
Who's that talking?
That's Randy.
Andy.
Oh, I thought that sounded like you, Randy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We do have a presentation. Camille, I believe you're going to be talking to us about budget.
Yes, so I'm going to share my screen again. Can you see this
Yep.
short and sweet budget presentation? So I thought for the new board members that I'd just give you a little more information on the RDA. So the purpose of a redevelopment agency is to facilitate redevelopment efforts in a designated community and to provide programs or projects to assist in economic development, community development, and in renewing urban areas. And redevelopment agencies assist in this redevelopment effort by encouraging private and public investment in previously developed areas that are underutilized. So revenues from the RDA come from tax increment funding. We also call that TIF. And this funding comes from both Roy City and other governmental agencies within Weber County. There's a taxing entity committee made up of the different taxing members in Weber County. And when there's a new project area, they vote to forego their property tax revenue for that area for a certain length of time. So you can see on this slide that Roy City is contributing tax increment of about $63,000, but the other agencies in Weber County are contributing $277,000 towards our RDA. We have $300,000 budgeted for revolving loan funding, $260,000 for downtown beautification, which is an increase of $10,000 from last year, and $59,000 for demolition. So like the city budget, the redevelopment agency budget must be adopted by June 22nd. So we're planning to hold the public hearing on this on June 16th. And we're happy to facilitate a work session on this budget too, if you think it's needed. And with that, we present the budget to you.
Okay, board members, any questions about the RDA budget?
Nope.
Go back to your last slide, Camille. I didn't know you were going to move your slide. Do you mind?
Yes, absolutely. Let me share my screen again.
Thanks. Okay, so my question was about the revolving loan funding for the 300,000. Is
Yes.
that where we are able to do the small business loans? What sort of loans and how much do we already have out in loans in that regard?
So we've been doing loans in the amount of $30,000 or less. And currently we only have one loan outstanding. And as I believe Matt mentioned in the city meeting, Randy helps facilitate those loans. We have a city board that then approves it, and then the finance staff sends out the invoices on those and tracks the payments. So we just have one loan outstanding right now.
how difficult is it to do a loan in that area? And would this be an opportunity that maybe some of our small businesses that are having difficulty right now with the COVID, is that something that they would be able to tap into, or is this a different entity?
We have had interest in that. We've had a couple of people reach out and get application. However, they have not applied. Sometimes when they look at the funding, they're looking at some of the federal funding that they want to be relieved. This loan is not relieved and would have to be paid back. And so at this time, we have not received any loan applications for anything dealing with COVID-19.
And do we set the time frame for payback, or is it a predetermined time frame for repaying the loan?
We negotiate that in the terms of the contract when the board sees that. So.
Yeah, and also the interest rate is set at 1.5% above what the city's receiving on its investment fund. So that varies depending. Right now, it's probably about 3.5%. And we do have a set of guidelines, and we do have a set of criteria that they have to submit. We review that with the Economic Development Committee first. They make a recommendation, and then we bring those back to the board for their final approval before we loan.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Go
a
ahead.
good question, Diane. One of the things that we may need to look at, if in fact how the $300,000 revolving fund function is kind of laid out in a document that defines the guidelines, how it will be spent, how it will be used. It might be interesting, and Randy, you might be able to help us with this a little bit, or Andy can, is to see if in fact, given the nature of this pandemic, if in fact, under the nature of the pandemic and what the businesses are experiencing, does it fit within the guidelines that are outlined in the use of revolving loan funds? If what they need it for is not found within that guideline, then the redevelopment agency can change the guidelines. But my concern right now might be is if a person applies for a revolving loan fund utilizing some of the money that's been designated, they have to follow the guidelines, and maybe what they're going to be using it for may not necessarily fit within the guidelines as it sits today.
Okay, thank you. I had a question on the downtown beautification. Is that a fund that is there with predetermined projects already decided upon, or is that there available if projects come up?
Matt?
Available for projects that would come up. So yes, there's no direct allocation right now that we're paying for something right there.
So that was the money that was used for the street lights, right? That you put up and down 1900.
In order to use some of this RDA money, you have to use it within the zone designated for that RDA. And so, yes, that is correct, in part of saying that it was only used in that zone. So most of that money is outside of the RDA zone, so therefore was paid by the general fund in the city's budget. So right now, the majority of that money is tied up in RDA zone number 2, which is the Iomega building. So there's a small portion of streetlights out front that were purchased by the RDA.
Yeah, and by the way, there's a beautification committee. And if you're a member of that beautification committee, some of these projects actually come out of the beautification committee's recommendations. And then in this case, they would come back to the RDA board in terms of a plan, in terms of how to use those monies. So, if you're the city council member on the beautification committee, then this would be a pool of dollars available to you to look at those as a way by which we can provide some beautification.
So I am on that committee. Who is the chairman of that committee?
Well, I'm a member of it. Matt, you're a member of it.
I don't know if there's necessarily a chair for it appointed to it. Just all members in the committee. And if you would like to be a chair, we could make that nomination.
That's okay.
In a heartbeat.
I just want to get a new inner welcome to Roy City sign on 1900, as far north as you can go. I just would like
Oh.
to get a new sign right there.
Well, okay, and then here's the key. We do have them on the other entrances coming into the city, but there's
Right.
one on the north. So if it's within the RDA area, and we'd have to look at that. But the key would be, is I would expect the beautification committee to make a recommendation, whether it's using RDA funds or whether general funds, to look at how we might be able to do that. And it may very well be we have to purchase or make an agreement with UDOT. They own the property up there, as well as the Hanson family on the one side, to basically purchase a little bit of spot for we can put a sign, some type of a waterfall or something up at that end.
Well, even if we replace that Eagle Scout project that's been there for 40 years,
Yes.
even just, I think it did its service, and just putting, even if it's just a great big engraved rock or something, I don't know if that road's ever gonna be widened, but I've had so many people tell me, if you get into the council, please put a better sign up when you enter Roy City right there. And so I didn't know if that was part of the beautification. And
Beautification.
so anyway,
As the chair lady, I propose you get it done.
And by the way, I should indicate to you, Ann, where we're talking about, which is Hinckley and 1900.
right.
Interesting enough, Roy is actually north of there, but at least,
Oh,
yeah, we're actually on the other side, the north side of Hinckley.
so that sign's not even where we enter Roy.
Not the first entrance, but if you're coming in on Hinckley, it is the first sign you will see coming in on Hinckley. That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
So my recommendation is, let's get Matt to make sure we're setting up a meeting for beautification, and then have that meeting. And then if you have an idea, bring it to the table. And if it's general fund, we take it to the council. If it's a RDA fund, then we bring it to the board.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Can those beautification funds be used for business beautification, or is it just Roy property beautification?
I'm not sure.
It has
on
to be in the
that.
RDA.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah.
as long as it's within the RDA.
Could a business utilize those funds to do beautification of their business?
Well, I think the question is a good question, because I'll indicate to you, I think the city a year or two ago, maybe a couple of years ago, kind of went in partnership with the Burger Bar and made a couple of enhancements on that wall around the Burger Bar for protection purposes, but also for beautification. Is that a right statement, Matt?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
Roy City did participate in some of that with the Burger Bar. That's correct. But it had something to do with that was before my time doing this, but I do recollect that was the case. It had to do with when we realigned that road with, when the state came in and redid all that stuff, and there was some safety hazard there.
Yeah.
With the public standing there. They wanted to create a barricade between them and cars, so.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to help out, tie it in with the sign across the street and what we're doing in the island too.
Yeah. And Andy,
It looked really nice.
And so that came
you were
through
part
the
of that
beautification. Right.
big one over there by Harmon's. Yeah.
So that came through, the beautification committee made that recommendation, and then we were able to get the funding that way, so.
Yeah. Okay, so Ann, my recommendation to you would be is get with Matt, let's schedule a beautification discussion, and if we got some ideas, let's get that on the table, because I haven't been attending that meeting, haven't been called for that meeting over the last 3 or 4 months, so it's about time.
Yeah.
Okay, Camille provided the budget. Any other comments from the board members on this? Okay, hearing none, then do I have a motion then to adjourn the RDA board meeting?
I motion, so moved.
Okay. We
I
have
second it.
First and a second. Thank you. Okay, everybody agrees, say aye.
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 Okay, I think I heard them all. Any opposed?
Nay.
Hey, we stand adjourned. Thank you for your time and making this. Morgan, again, you do some wonderful things to pull it
Yes.
together. Thank you so much to make this
Good
work.
job.
Great.
Thank
I didn't realize this was such a short meeting. I wouldn't have ate my food so fast in between meetings.
Okay.
It's
Well,
the
we got
first
some good-
one.
We got
It's
some
the
good
first one I've
items coming out of
attended,
these
you know?
meetings.
We
That's good to
We
know.
can make a longer one if you'd like.
No, no, that's okay.
Thank you. Stay healthy. Stay healthy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.